So if all goes as planned, this should be really boring.
Yeah.
Flying over the prairies, this is the first time I look outside.
You really helped me look for some of the gotchas, and we really thought through things, and some of it happened, which was pretty cool. Like we did have to use NDBs, and we did have a VOR outage.
No VOR though, huh? We're testing it with 2 independent radios.
Yeah.
Not NOTAM'd off.
I couldn't have asked for a better chance to really sharpen those radio navigation skills for my instrument flying. Alright, so I hope you're strapped in for a really solid debrief of my first real IFR mission, flying old school 6-pack, no certified GPS, and an original autopilot from the 1970s in my friend Blake's new to him Cherokee 6. This mission took us most of the way across Canada. Before we got into really specific planning, I sat down with my long-term mentor Dennis to talk through some of the things I'd be facing in general.
The one thing that you can do is really try to fly IFR even though it's not.
Yeah.
You know, file, do approaches, so you have an opportunity to test out the equipment.
So we're climbing runway, heading to 9,000.
You got him.
If I had an autopilot, I would be dialing at 9,000.
Yep. He's going to give us vectors to the airway, essentially, I guess.
But this episode is going to dive deep into the details I worked through with Ryan from Cardinal Aviation during a coaching session.
Right away coming out of Calgary, we know there's no airways coming out of there and that you were going to need radar vectors to get on course. I'd left you a note, I think you might throw this in there, but you may require radar vectors to Empress until you get within reception distance.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stay on instruments. I guess we should have probably briefed that. You
Yeah.
keep looking for traffic. I'm just going to be that guy. Practice my scan.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, turn right and direct Empress.
Right direct Empress, Quebec Yankee Hotel. Should I just ask for a vector because we're not reading it, eh? Did we be reading it? What's the distance?
So clearly I've got an iPad in front of me, but I'm really trying to use it just as a chart holder, and in this case, the YEA VOR was not even the next waypoint, so it's not like I could have glanced at it to see the distance to next. My goal here was to execute this using the old school certified equipment and avail myself of ATC to fill in any gaps.
Distance is 170 miles.
So we can't see that.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm going to ask for a vector.
Okay.
And terminal, can Quebec Yankee Hotel get initial vector? We're not reading the VOR yet, and we're not GPS equipped.
Oh, Quebec Yankee Hotel, no problem. Fly heading is 090.
090, thank you, Quebec Yankee Hotel. That's the way to handle that.
Yes, exactly.
And then this is that moment to do the exercise of the math, and then we can know when we'll read it.
Okay, so obviously people are kind of, nitpicking us in the comments, like we got 2 iPads and we're talking about flying no GPS. So the situation is I am faithfully attempting to do this for real, and you can see me doing it, and I'm using FlightChops as a reference, but I'm constantly like, okay, let's get this nav aid going. Let's get that tool in play.
Yeah, so for fun, you want to do it?
Yeah.
1.23 times the square root of the altitude, 9,000.
We did the formula. We screwed it up slightly because we just read the altimeter and plugged in the math, but it should have been height above station, not height above sea level.
Yeah, so your range is going to be less, so you have to be closer to pick it up.
Oh, that crap from the written test comes in handy.
We should get it at 116.
So let's use FlightChops to figure out when that would be. All right, so 116 miles away, you figure? Is what the math says?
Yeah, so it's just on the outer ring of their terminal airspace.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, and we got the volume turned up so we can start to hear it.
Yeah, 1.9. Yeah, that's the right one.
Like you've seen the airplanes that I'm ferrying or moving all the time, they have like amazing Garmin panels because they're just coming out of the avionics shop when I'm delivering it. And despite all those amazing Garmin tools, I still use FlightChops in every single one of them just because like that's my like North Star. That's my comfort. That's where I know where everything is. Why would you not use a tool that you have?
So exactly. So I mean, for me, I had Blake there as a safety pilot backing everything up, and I was really using FlightChops as a chart holder ultimately, and I was working real hard, and you can see me constantly reminding Blake, like, let's get that tuned up, let's check this. Like, I'm really working with the certified equipment that I have, and I'm trying to faithfully do it.
The tools that you had, it was no different than having a paper chart, Steve. This is the thing. It was a really efficient paper chart.
Well, the georeference, yeah, okay.
Anyway, we're leaving that on climb settings.
Yep.
We're still climbing. We have about 1,200 to go. Maintaining my heading. I've been hand flying. It's fine. You can use the autopilot later. And engine instruments are still happy.
Flying a Cherokee 6 from Alberta, Ontario is no small task. And if you ignore the tools that you have in your flight bag.
But I mean, I was still trying to do that challenge because I knew it was a temporary opportunity because it isn't going to be something I get to do every day. The airplane that we're building is going to have a ridiculous high-tech panel. And even Blake's airplane, that's pretty much getting ripped out and updated. So I enjoyed the opportunity to be challenged to do it. In my mind, yes, I had the tools in front of me, but I was really trying not to use them as anything other than a confirmation I wasn't wrong for safety reasons.
Yeah, like when you have this thing trimmed, it's awesome.
Upcoming content shares my previous experience in a Cherokee 6.
I do remember like how much I enjoyed it in Mexico. The problem was I was exhausted a lot of the time because we flew so much.
I'm out here in beautiful Mexico on an awesome secluded beach. We've done some great general aviation flying. That's how we got here. This is going to be a multi-part series sharing the process of what it's like to fly here in Mexico.
The guy was with us was so excited.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to show you this beach, I want to show you this village, I want to show you this thing. And we're going to fly over Mexico City. We did all of it. It was awesome, but I spent most of it just thankful he was there because I was really exhausted.
Yeah.
Like not passing the I am safe checklist. We didn't have that conversation this morning, but I think we both know we were passing it.
Yeah.
So it's illness, medication, sleep, alcohol, fatigue, and eating is the one I put for E, but I think other people use external pressures for E.
Eating is a good one because I need to get some food in me for my brain to work.
And when I'm stressed or in the zone, eating is not something I feel like doing.
Yeah.
So thanks for getting that banana because that's kind of all I had initially.
Hey,
but
no problem.
That's all I needed.
If you need anything,
I got the rest. Yeah.
I have everything at the ready.
Okay, 500 to go. And we're on heading and FOR flight agrees. I could probably make a bit of a left turn based on FOR flight. That was the initial heading from him.
No, so from this point on, we're actually going downhill.
Right.
All the way to
home.
All the way to home, yeah.
Quebec Yankee Hotel heading 070.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, thank you. So I just already done that.
Yeah.
I pictured it. Cool. That's FOR flight up on its out.
He gave me 090, and then I could see on FOR flight my track was kind of getting me there, but I knew I was going to need a turn, which I ended up making the correction right when he gave it to me, which is incorrect.
From an ATC standpoint, don't do that because the thing is the heading that they've given you at air traffic control, there's no like magic calculator or screen that shows you, hey, this is what the wind correction is. It's just kind of what have you had to give airplanes for the day to make the track that you want work.
Let's try not to cheat.
Yeah. So
Romeo Zero Romeo Calgary.
I couldn't have done anything unless he gave me that heading, right? Because I'm not seeing it, but so this was
Because technically you can't deviate from a signed heading that he gives you, right?
So okay.
When you told him I can't get VOR, he said, okay, we'll turn 090 and you got to stick on that.
Okay, you're right. So I should have asked for a correction or wait till he gives it to me.
Yeah, which
ironically he gave it to me right when I did it.
Yeah.
And so you doing the 070, all things being equal, you make that correction to 070, and then they think you're still flying what you should be, the assigned 090. And then in their mind, they're like, oh, the winds shift there. From now on, I need to give airplanes a tweak. So if you're assigned a heading, fly the heading. If you pick up the nav aid and you're able to go direct to fix, before you do it, tell them, hey, we're receiving the VOR now. We can go direct on our own. And they're like, okay, sure.
Yeah. So in this case, it literally, I don't think he would have seen the change yet when he keyed the mic to talk to me. I was making the turn, so I didn't screw up his world. But I see what you're saying. Didn't even occur to me to think that he would have seen that as a wind drift change for me. So that was a pretty cool moment, and I now I get it. As Blake put it in his notes to me, we lucked out that we made the turn at the same moment that he gave me the correction, so it probably didn't screw up the system.
So why don't we put this one up on number 2 and track it outbound?
Which one, sir?
Number 1.
3111
YYC.
Calgary's, yeah.
210. Turn right direct to Robma.
Okay, so now we have this to track outbound, so that's a from, and it's reading from.
Yep.
So the related note that I have there is I was also, for my own reference, once I was on that vector and locked in, I tracked outbound from Calgary to just kind of give myself something because I didn't have any tool at that point beyond the vector. I didn't have to change my heading or anything to do it, but I think you were saying that's technically incorrect because I'm still on a vector, so.
No, so here's the thing. I loved your use of the VOR, like tracking outbound from the VOR in Calgary as a means of situational awareness. But in that scenario, in the situation you were in, it's really important to separate the what am I flying and what am I using as a tool for situational awareness. So what you were flying should have been the heading that you were assigned.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can turn the CDI on the VOR all you want. And what radial am I? Oh, I wouldn't use the word tracking because tracking means that you're actively staying on it, which you shouldn't be if you're on an assigned heading.
So the note that I made to myself about this was I used it to confirm my track without changing my heading, which worked. So we're good? Question mark?
Correct. It's really hard mentally to isolate, because we're so used to keep the needle centered, and you're supposed to be flying a heading, and then but subconsciously you're like, I got to go keep that needle centered, right?
Yeah. So I used it. I didn't change my heading in that case. It was really like confirming. Basically, I was confirming that yes, my heading is working, my track is working, and then if I did need to change it, that's a case where I could ask him.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So I want to try autopilot now since it's stable up here.
Yeah.
So on heading. Come on, girl. A little drunk. If you just like, hold on, just hold it there. You want to nudge her, do what you gotta do? We're descending a bit there. You want to?
No, go for it, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. So that was because she did a bunch of that, and we got inefficient, and that created drag, and then we started descending.
Push to 253, turn left direct SIMTA. Left direct SIMTA for West at 253. But you actually, you know what, weird routing now. I've got you Enderby, Kelowna. Is that, you want to go just direct Enderby from there? Yes, please. We're not GPS this morning. Okay, turn left direct to Enderby. Available if not, fly heading at 240 to label direct Enderby.
Interesting.
Okay, left turn direct Enderby, or we can do that now for West at 253.
WestJet,
It's WestJet. That's
wow.
something.
Have a Gatorade too if you want.
You know, I'll go Gatorade. Give me some electrolytes.
Yankee Hotel, you receiving the Empress VOR yet?
Negative, but we're tracking outbound from Calgary, so we're good track.
Okay, Quebec Yankee Hotel, thanks.
Quebec Yankee Hotel.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, contact Eminence Center 13265.
13265, Quebec Yankee Hotel. Like, we're at 110 distance, so the math says it should be 3 miles ago, right?
Yeah.
West at 253, was flight level 280, your requested final?
What you got?
Check out the ADF needle side, Brooks, to the right of us.
Yep.
I'm just testing to make sure that it works.
Well, it's sort of pointing right, but it's still swinging. So it should be off our nose to the right.
Yeah.
That sort of checks out, but it's still moving. Like it's looking for it.
I'm sorry, it's so funny. Just like everything is so analog.
Oh yeah.
You know, that sounds about right. Maybe 30 degrees.
And meanwhile, we're back to trying to identify the YEA VOR.
You can go ahead and check it.
Yeah.
Well, it gave us a flag, like it doesn't like it yet.
Yeah. I'm not going to be too worried until we get outside of that outer ring. We still have Calgary that's working fine, so.
Yeah, we're not IMC,
Yeah.
so we're back to Calgary tracking outbound, and we like that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you did not have Flight, what would you have in your lab?
The paper chart.
Good. And if you were doing your job triangulating all your positions and you're really good at it, what would you be putting on your paper chart?
Some really messy scribbles.
Yeah, like you'd be marking your position, like I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here, right? Like we would have our, like how we used to fly, we'd like have our finger on the map as we went, right?
Yeah.
So is that any freaking different than FlightChops putting a GPS airplane on top of a map on an iPad? No. In fact, the FlightChops product is better than my finger on a map based on some crap that I came up with doing math.
That's right. Address. That's right. Frequency. Oh, tweets. We got it.
Something happened.
Yeah.
So can we hear it?
They should broadcast Morse code on these things, right?
They do. I mean, they have to. You have to identify it. So we think we're tracking it, but we have not identified it because we couldn't hear it. Right?
For 1784, Eminence Center, good day, climb for
Volume is up on.
Yep. Yep.
That was it. Yep.
Cool.
In the next episode from this series, we'll cover flying on ILS in some challenging winds.
Latest weather at Regina is 150.25, resting 32.
But the payoff for this episode is all about the VOR outage and how we dealt with it. That happened after departing Regina on our way to Winnipeg. So let's get into it.
And Regina Tower, it's Quebec Yankee Hotel, holding short 13, ready to go.
Foxtrot, Quebec Yankee Hotel Tower, contact Winnipeg Center on 120.1 when airborne, wind 170 at 16, gusting 23. Clear for takeoff, runway 13. Have a safe flight, Steve. Thanks for stopping by.
Right on, thanks. Okay, it'll be 120 and 0.1, and we're clear takeoff, 13, Quebec Yankee Hotel. Only a little bit of pressure when the tower controller knows you.
And of course, having the nav aid be out meant we were longer in the dark.
No VOR though, huh?
That's.
We're testing it with 2 independent radios.
Yeah.
Not NOTAM'd off. The Winnipeg Center, it's Foxtrot, Quebec Yankee Hotel with crest.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, go ahead, request.
Can you just confirm the Yankee Delta Romeo VOR is functional? We're pretty close now, still not receiving. On 2 radios tested.
Let me look in the outage page here, stand by.
We're not idiots, right?
No, I don't think
We've
so.
done this.
We just used this an hour ago.
Frequency 17.5.
Yeah. Have 2. Come on.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, you are correct. The Broadview VOR is listed here as being unserviceable. Are you able direct to the Delta NDB, Uniform Delta Echo?
Stand by. Uniform Delta. Do you see it?
Uniform Delta Echo?
Yep.
So when we realized that the VOR was out, he just looked at our flight plan real quick and he's like, oh, you want to just go to UDE or whatever it was? And that's like, both Blake and I are like, what? UDE? We're looking for it. What he was giving us was an
NDB.
NDB. So it was an NDB way down our track. And it's like, so I guess he was just thinking in GPS world that would just be next or whatever. Just do that and go.
All right.
Yankee Quebec Hotel, Triangulate. Then how about Brandon VOR, Yankee Bravo Romeo?
Yeah,
try that.
We can do YBR. Yeah.
Okay, we're tuning that up. Yankee Bravo Romeo. Thank you. Quebec Yankee Hotel. So he just said direct, like not the airways, just go direct. I just don't think at this distance we're gonna
pick it up yet, right?
For 158 miles at 9,000. But you got tuned on both?
Yeah.
All right, well.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, were you able to get Brandon?
Well, we're still too far away, but we're heading that direction. But we'll be, we've got it tuned and we're listening.
Okay, sounds good. Then to make the IFR clearance official, then you are cleared. Present position direct to Brandon Yankee Bravo Romeo, and remainder of routing is unchanged.
Cleared direct to Yankee Bravo Romeo from current position, Quebec Yankee Hotel.
Roger.
I'm essentially admitting that I know where I'm going, and he's like, okay, just to make the clearance official, he says current position direct such and such, and I accept that clearance, which is really like, yeah, I should have just said I need a vector.
Right, so you can't accept that. I cannot accept present position direct branding because I'm not picking up the VOR, and I don't have an IFR certified GPS. But what I can do is I can fly my present heading until I am able direct branded. And you know what? If that means that I'm not flying direct Brandon this whole time, so be it. If it means that it puts me 10 degrees off course and then I pick it up and I make a dog leg to Brandon, so be it. That is what it is.
Yeah, cool.
I'll just do a little turn here.
Yep.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, when you need a Brandon altimeter setting 2974.
2974, Quebec Yankee Hotel.
He was saying, YDR is useless to you, so why even go over it? Why
Yep,
even
yep.
use it as a waypoint?
I guess the reason why would have been that we could have been on this airway eventually when we picked up the next one, but now we're in no man's land. So if we lost comms, we're cleared direct on our own radio.
Yeah.
Like now our new clearance is that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is educational.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that you can do. What's one like?
Well, so what we did do was triangulate, right? So I guess that's where I used the VOR to the side. I'm like, okay, so we knew what radio we're on.
So if we tuned in Yorkton, I guess.
Yorkton, yeah.
We'll put that on 2 and see if we can triangulate.
Foxtrot Whiskey, Foxtrot, Winnipeg Center, squawk code 4730, please.
4730, climbing 36.5, off to be deployed with straw 2132.
Like the 180, yeah, that's close.
The only part of the step that we skipped on that one was to precisely know the distance. We should have done that trick where you do your 90-degree intercept of a radial, time it to the next one, and then you can figure out based on your speed what the distance is. And then,
yeah, if you can do that, I'll give you a hero cookie.
Well, I know, but I mean that's the only way, right? How else are you going to know you're on your track? And since we were already flying perpendicular to that radial, it wouldn't have been much extra work if we could have remembered to do this trick. Here's Jason Miller teaching it in the app that I'm a part of developing. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of this project. It's called Ground School. You can get it at the App Store. And it's truly like having a CFI at home.
You turn 90 degrees to the radial that you are on, and you fly for some period of time until you get to some next radial. Then you divide the amount of time it took by the degrees of change. Keep it simple. 10 is a great number to work with. I would twist 10 ahead, whatever I was on. If I was on the 150 degree radial, if I'm southeast of the station, I might turn left to a heading of 240 and fly to the 160 degree radial. And let's imagine that takes you 2 minutes or 120 seconds. That's 10 degrees of change. That is 12 minutes to the station.
That's good educational stuff.
Yeah, we're learning a lot on this trip.
Aren't you glad you went IFR?
Quebec Yankee Hotel, Winnipeg.
Go ahead.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, radar identification has been lost. The radar service now terminated. It'll probably get you again when you're about 50 to 60 miles west of Brandon.
Quebec Yankee Hotel. All right, on our own.
So that's in about 30 miles or so. So now we're on our own for 30 miles.
So isn't that amazing? Like, so we had a nav aid out, a radar hole. We're literally on our own. That moment where we did have to figure out our track in the blind, we were off the track that would have been on our nav log because of that outage when we got it. He was like, well, skip that one then, just go direct. So now I am no longer on the track or heading that I would have been on my nav log. So I'm back to this place where even referring to what you're talking about, go get your heading off your nav log, and if you had a comm failure, those numbers wouldn't have worked. So I really did have to do the triangulating and figure that out. So that is what I did. I'm just still wrapping my head around this idea of a comm failure means now I'm on a vector with nothing else, and I don't love that. But I know what you mean. Just maintain it, and you will pick up the next nav aid. But that's all you can do.
But here's the thing: depending, like, is the comm failure because of electrical? Is it because of your actual like comm radio failed? Because if it's electrical, you're also losing nav. And
right.
This is one of the real considerations that we have to make when we're making decisions around single engine IFR. You have one vacuum pump, you have one alternator, you have one of everything. So like single engine IFR at night is a no-go for me personally, like piston anyway, not happening.
But not if you're flying the RB14 we're building. We have 2 alternators and no vacuum pump.
Well, there you go.
So this is a good time where if we were in radar vectors, we were in IMC, let's make sure we know our heading and
just stick to it.
We can triangulate our position with that VOR.
Yep.
But we know where we are, we're confident, we're happy, and of course we're VMC, and this is a good time to also make sure we don't have precession. Check our engine instruments, and we changed fuel tanks. Like, are we due yet?
We'll change it in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Anyway, so what I was gonna say is, aren't you glad that you went IFR? Because this is gonna set you up ready to jump right back in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because your head is in the game, man. Like, you're on top of it. It's pretty cool.
We're trying to figure out why we didn't know that VOR was out of service.
But there's no NOTAM that says it's out.
I don't know. Did we look?
I read them, but I didn't see it.
What's interesting is in the pre-brief that I did with Dennis, he specifically said one of the things that I do, because ForeFlight has made it easier to coalesce your NOTAMs. However, I had 19 pages of NOTAMs for that flight.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Even though they're supposed to have made NOTAMs much simpler and more intuitive, it's anything but. Yeah. So when I talk to a briefer, the one thing I'll always ask them is just equipment outages. Right. You know, is the ILS working here? Is the runway closed there? And that way they sift through all that for you. So it's a bit of a cheat. You know, we always thought getting ForeFlight and everything was cheating because it now made all that stuff easier for us. But now I'm calling the briefer and saying, you know, is everything working?
Yeah, that's a good point. If we miss a NOTAM, we're morons.
Yeah.
But you know what? We did. Remember I said to the guy, NOTAM me all the way to Winnipeg this morning?
This morning, yeah, you did, okay.
So if there's 3 hours later, you know, our due diligence, we should have checked it again at lunch.
Yeah.
I did read through them in the ForeFlight briefing.
Okay.
But that's a lot, man. It's a lot to look at NOTAMs.
Yeah.
So I could have missed it if it was there.
Winnipeg Center, Quebec Yankee Hotel.
You might not have us.
Quebec Yankee Hotel, go ahead.
Hi, we're just wondering if you happen to know when Yankee Delta Romeo went unserviceable. What time today?
Yeah, when the technician comes back to the desk here, I can see if they have a date on that, a date and time.
Yeah, great. If you can relate to that to us, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Ah, yes, they're our friends. ATC's our friends.
Right.
Yeah. Tango Bravo Zulu,
it's a good learning moment. Oh, are we beating?
Moose Child, emitter
starting to get it.
Yes.
2954.
9,000, discussion, and 29.
Roger.
Yep, that's it.
It's just starting to come alive, a little wibbly wobbly. So the fact that flag is not like stable means it's like I can kind of sort of hear it.
Yeah. Hear the Morse code?
Yep.
Heard us direct 2, so let's put in a different.
I guess we can just tune the radio that we're on. All right, so that's cool. So we didn't really spend too much time not knowing where we were going.
Yeah.
Or at least not having help.
Oops, not one.
NDV's doing something.
Several more episodes are coming in this series.
What did we tune?
Did a little dance.
I want to thank sponsors, Patreon supporters, and collaborators like Ryan for being a part of it. Until next time, keep your FlightChops sharp.
Cardinal Aviation is all about taking 20 years of experience flying in air traffic control and just like packaging it up when I give it, or any members of our team, to pilots to help them continue their learning, transform the way they fly. And we don't really do ab initio training. We focus more on like the advanced situational awareness, decision making, systems management, automation management. Like that's what we really love doing. And we're not spoon feeding information. Like we really believe that you have the tools, that you know how to fly your airplane, you know how to manage your equipment, but we're going to help you find a better way to do it, and which is going to lead to safer flying, more enjoyable flying. That's Cardinal Aviation. We've also got the podcast, Cardinal Aviation Audio Briefings. It's on all the major podcast platforms. With that, it's not just interviewing pilots and, hey, how cool are you and what do you fly? We really try to go deeper into like what is going on inside the person that affects their flying and what have they experienced, and talk about a lot of the things that in aviation we tend to shy away from talking about, which we're really proud to be able to go there.